question I often receive is, Caney, what other champions would you suggest I play if my favorite champion is X? And I always tell everyone the same thing, so I thought it would be a good idea to make a video to show you guys how you all can use a very useful tool to find your next favorite champion. For those of you that don't know, I'm working on an industrial engineering degree, and the job of an industrial engineer is to optimize systems and make processes more efficient. We have many ways of doing this, but one of the most basic is called root cause analysis. For every result in every process, there are many factors that contribute to each individual result, but very few factors that absolutely cause the result. That is to say, if the factor was removed, then the result would cease to exist, or at the very least exist in a severely diminished form. We call these factors root causes. As you can imagine, root cause analysis is generally used to identify the root cause of a problem in order to eliminate it, but you can also use it to find the root cause of a positive result so you know where to further focus your efforts. So, how can we apply this concept to League? Well, the feeling you get when you play your favorite champion is nothing more than a process of signals in your brain, and we can find the root cause of those signals the same exact way we would do it for any other process. Basically, what we're going to do is identify what we like about our champion, rate those things to find out which one contributes the most to our enjoyment, and then use that to find another champion that shares that same characteristic. Let's use myself as an example. I've been playing League for almost 5.5 years now, and the champion I've identified most with is Thresh, so I'm going to use him as a base to branch out from. What I like most about Thresh is that he's a strong laner, he's an effective roamer, and he makes it really easy to create picks. There are a few different ways to organize this information, but the most common is a cause and effect diagram. The information that we'll be dealing with isn't necessarily on a scale where this type of diagram would be necessary, but I'll use a simplified version of it anyway, just to show you guys how it works. We'll label the top as Thresh, since that's the champion that we're talking about. Branching out from that, we'll put the most general characteristics of him that we like. Strong laner, strong pick ability, and effective roamer. Now what we want to do is extend the branches of each of these individual characteristics. The key to this is to continue asking why until you're satisfied. So, why is Thresh a strong laner? Well, he's ranged. But why is being ranged a good thing? Because being ranged allows for better trading and zoning abilities in lane. Why else is he a good laner? Flay seems like it does a lot of work, but why? Because Flay is reliable damage and CC through minions and also helps our auto attacks. Why else is he a good laner? Well, Death Sentence scores me a lot of kills, but why? Because long duration hard CCs create kill pressure in lane. Continue to do this for the other areas and eventually you have a complete diagram with a bunch of causal factors at the bottom. However, only one or two of these are root causes. That is to say, if your favorite champion did not have that characteristic, you would not enjoy playing him or her with absolute certainty. To help boil down the choices, start at the top and work your way down, eliminating certain branches if need be. So for me, Thresh's laning prowess isn't what attracts me the most about him. If he wasn't a strong laner, I would still enjoy playing him, so we can cross out that branch of the diagram. From here it starts to get a little bit difficult because when I think about it, neither Thresh's pick ability nor his roaming absolutely decides whether or not I enjoy playing him. For example, if he was a good roamer but couldn't create picks, I wouldn't want to play him. And conversely, if he could create picks but wasn't a good roamer, I wouldn't want to play him either. This is a case where we'll have multiple root causes, and that's okay. It actually helps us narrow down our champion similarities a bit easier, so it's definitely not a bad thing. For our purposes, it's generally pretty safe to stop here, but if we want to go even deeper, we could go down to the sub-factors and see which ones are the most important to us. For me, I really like the freedom to roam whenever and wherever I want, which generally only comes when you're playing a support or jungler. I also like the fact that this Death Sentence is both difficult to dodge and complex to use. On the other side of the tree, I like how I'm able to afford a lot of wards and have a sweeper, which again, generally only applies to supports and junglers. And again, I like its Death Sentence for the same reasons I described earlier. So from this I can gather that I would generally prefer to play supports or junglers, and I would like my abilities to have some sort of complexity to them. I don't just want to point and click on someone. Given this information, let's try to brainstorm some champions that may fit the description. What I do is I go to the wiki and I just gloss over the list and write down whatever comes to mind. Right off the bat, for me, I'm thinking Bard, Blitzcrank, Elise, Lee Sin, Leona, and Rek'Sai. After you've got a list of champions, note how many things they have in common with your favorite champion. They're all either supports or junglers, so we'll ignore that point. Let's stick with these three factors: complexity, pick capability, and roaming capability. Bard scores high in all three, Blitzcrank scores high in pick and roaming capability but low in complexity, Elise scores high in all three, Lee Sin scores high in all three, although an argument can be made that he's not as high in the pick capability department. Leona is high in pick capability and roaming capability but low in complexity. Rek'Sai is high in all three departments. Now let's add a fourth factor and give it a higher weight value of 5, viability. Bard is a 5, Blitzcrank is a 2, Elise a 2, Lee Sin a 4, Leona a 5, and Rek'Sai a 5. If viability isn't important to you, then you can ignore this part or give it less weight, but for me personally, I would rather play viable champions if I have the choice. So after we total everything up and assign percent values, we find that Bard is a huge frontrunner with Lee Sin and Rek'Sai falling behind, Leona just behind them, and Elise and Blitzcrank trailing in the back. And just so you guys know how well this actually works, I legitimately did everything in this video without knowing what the end result would be, and the end result is filled with some of my favorite champions of all time. Bard is my current obsession, Blitzcrank was my first successful champion guide, Lee Sin is my all-time favorite jungler, Leona is my highest win rate support this season, Rek'Sai is my highest win rate jungle this season, and I played the hell out of Elise before she got hit with the nerf bat. So you can see the stuff actually works, and I guarantee you that if you're having trouble finding new champions to play, this process will work wonders for you. Not only will it help you enjoy the game more, but it will also help you climb the ladder by narrowing your champion pool and focusing your improvement. Root cause analysis is something that can be applied to many things in your life, and I invite you all to apply it wherever you can, not only in the workplace but also in everyday life. Life is much easier to live when you can identify what makes you happy and what gets in the way of your happiness. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching, good luck in your games, and I'll see you all next time.